Welcome to Citrix Converge 2021, delivering the workspace anytime, any place, and anywhere. I'm Christian Riley, Vice President of Technology Strategy here at Citrix, and I'm really pleased to welcome you to the event. In fact, this is the third Citrix Converge, and the second to cover the entire Citrix range of technologies. And this time last year, we were all working remotely in the middle of a global pandemic. Since then, luckily, we're kind of starting to come through the other side. And we've moved into what we now think is pretty much an established hybrid working mode. And here at Citrix, we obviously didn't anticipate there would be a global pandemic, but prior to the pandemic, we'd already seen some changes in the way our customers were working. We'd seen changes globally in the demographic of work, the way work was being executed and where that was done. And of course, our customers have continued to rely on us over the past 2 years to enable their employees to find new ways to work. And when I think about this new normal, it's actually a phrase that I don't use very often. I talk about the new now, because really there won't be anything that's normal from what we've been through. I think the one thing that the global pandemic did above anything else was give us an opportunity to conduct what really is the world's largest ever remote work experiment. And I think the really good thing about that was it proven that remote work does actually work. So as we come out of the other side of the pandemic, we're seeing examples of customers all around the world rethinking their policies, rethinking their technologies, rethinking how they have to be flexible to really drive the next generation of their work. And it's really providing some incredibly interesting opportunities for us here at Citrix. Of course, nobody has all the answers to this, and we're going to see a continued evolution, continued number of decisions made almost every day from companies around the world on what they want the future of their work to look like. And of course, at Citrix, we'll be standing by to help. But of course, the pandemic did come with some really tragic consequences. And I think all of us, one way or another, would recognize and realize that we know people, maybe even in our own families, who have succumbed to this terrible disease. And so I'd just like to take a moment to pause and reflect on anybody that we've lost over the past 2 years. And of course, from a Citrix perspective, we're absolutely and utterly always very thankful for everybody in the technical community, everybody out there today who's played an active role in helping our customers keep the lights on through the pandemic. We appreciate everything that we've done together, and we hope that coming out the other side of the pandemic, we'll have much more fun times, hopefully in person, ahead. So of course, at Citrix, we've also been very busy continuing our innovations. We recently had 3 different Citrix Launchpad events, which highlighted some of our most recent innovations across cloud, across security, and across work. And I'm going to give you a few highlights. Of course, all of these are now available for full replay, but I wanted to give you some ideas about the highlights of that and maybe just tease out a few of those innovations that we announced at the various Launchpad events. So during our Citrix Launchpad Cloud session, we covered a lot of groundbreaking advances in app delivery and security, some new innovations in Citrix virtual apps and desktops, and gave examples of new ways in which we're adding value to the services of the leading cloud providers. We were very proud to announce our new Citrix app delivery and security service, which is the industry's first intent-driven solution for app delivery and security. And it delivers self-healing and continuous optimization to ensure the best possible app experience. And across desktop as a service, we were able to announce 3 really cool things. Service continuity, which allows users to stay up and running as long as they've got a path to the virtual apps and desktops, even if they can't connect to the Citrix Cloud service. We've extended our Citrix provisioning services to Azure, which was something that we got asked for all the time. And of course, that's very soon to be coming to Google Cloud too. And that'll help customers transition all their desktop and apps to cloud at massive scale. And for desktop as a service, we had 3 really cool announcements as part of the Cloud Launchpad series. Service continuity, which enables users to stay up and running as long as they have a path to connect to their virtual apps and desktops, even if they can't connect to the Citrix Cloud service. We've extended Citrix provisioning services across Azure, something we got asked for all the time. And of course, that's also soon to be coming to Google Cloud as well. And this really will help our customers to transition all their apps and desktops to cloud at massive scale. We also announced Citrix Image Portability, which really gives customers a new way to manage, update, and deploy sets of images from a single location across any hybrid and multi-cloud environment. Moving to security, and we announced the arrival of Citrix Secure Private Access, which is our new cloud-delivered service that provides true zero trust-based adaptive security for all access types and all work scenarios. And we also announced Citrix Secure Access, which combines the core capabilities of Citrix Secure Private Access with Citrix Secure Internet Access, Citrix SD-WAN, Citrix Web App and API protection, and delivers the foundational components at the security layer of a SASE architecture. And within Citrix Launchpad Work event, we announced some really great things around personalization, being able to take Workspace app personalization to another level, giving a fully configurable experience. And we also introduced Citrix Workspace Browser, which is an embedded browser in Workspace app with tabbed browsing that you'd expect from a modern browser, which really gives us really cool ways to add control and performance. We also announced the Workspace app availability within Microsoft Teams. Talking about our relationship with Microsoft is very, very common for Citrix people. We're very proud of the relationship we have with Microsoft that stood 30 years test of time. And we continue to innovate with Microsoft. For those who are using Teams, we can now bring all the benefits of the Workspace app experience directly into the Teams environment. And finally, we announced Citrix Workspace App Builder. For those of you who have been at the previous Converges, you know we talked a lot about the micro apps and the micro workflows. This is really an extension of that, being able to use Citrix technologies within the Workspace to act as a system of record. We're actually using it ourselves for our own COVID certification. So for those applications that you don't have a backend for, but you need something that looks like a backend, well, you can get that today with Citrix Workspace App Builder. So we've been doing a lot of good things. I know you're going to hear so much more about it over the next few days. We're going to dive into the technical detail of all those technologies over the next few days. But I'd like to introduce Pat Patterson and give us an idea of what we can expect. Hey, Pat.
All right, Christian, thanks so much. And a great introduction to what people can expect over the next 3 days. So, yeah, I'll give you a rough outline of the conference, just so that you know where to look for those key sessions and what to expect. Now, we're kind of halfway, maybe partway through the opening keynote on day one. We have a series of keynotes tomorrow, first thing in the morning, 9 a.m., for the individual tracks. So this is where you'll go for a broad overview of our 3 areas. So that's virtual apps and desktops, app delivery and security, and work solutions. So highly recommend you pick one of those, attend live so you can ask all your questions, and then catch the other 2 in the recordings. And I'll mention now that everything you see will be recorded and available to you afterwards. So we're running the conference across 3 days this time. We ran Converge 2020 was across 10 days so that nothing overlapped. People told us that was too long, and frankly, I quite agree, having produced the event. So we've got 3 concurrent tracks. Don't worry about missing something, catch the recording. So across the afternoons, we have a series of panels. Now, there are a number of themes that our sessions focus on at Citrix this year. One theme is security. So we have a set of 4 security specialists. Actually, Christian, you're one of them, right? We pre-recorded that panel. And you're joined by Alexa Rubens, Avalash Verma, Kurt Roma, and our moderator, Mahesh Dhamoji Purapu. And I've actually watched the recording, a great discussion of the security needs that our customers have right now and how we're working to solve those, as well as looking into the future on how those needs might evolve and Citrix products evolve in tandem with those. The panel that I've had the most involvement with is our Devops panel. So we're bringing together 4 practitioners from the industry who collectively have decades of experience, both as DevOps users, DevOps engineers, and with vendors providing DevOps technology. So we've got people from PagerDuty, GitLab, Pulumi, and we have one of the DevOps managers from Citrix itself, Matthew Malecki, bringing you that. And then the third panel I want to draw your attention to runs on Thursday afternoon, and it'll be focusing on women in the Citrix ecosystem. Now, we've brought together 3 of our Citrix executives. So Tricia Etchison, who is in the worldwide partner enablement and marketing. Liz Fuller, the VP for Alliance Marketing and Strategic Programs, and Alicia Eve, a director from Product Marketing. They'll be joined by Esther Bartel, one of our key CTPs, Citrix technology professionals from representing women in the community. So you can expect a lively discussion there of the opportunities and progress that women are making in the technology industry in general and the Citrix ecosystem in particular. This is the opening keynote. I've mentioned the track keynotes. You absolutely should not miss our closing keynote on Thursday afternoon. So, Christian, you've known James Governor probably as long as I have, right?
I have. I've known James for, probably since the start of cloud. So yeah, he and I met a few times in London. Great guy, has a fantastic organization at Red Monk, and really, really insightful.
Yeah, I think I met him at Java 1 or something back in the mid 2000s. Well, James co-founded a consultancy called Red Monk. And Red Monk are pretty unique. Certainly when they were founded, they were the only agency looking specifically at hands-on practitioners, those developers, admins, engineers who actually make technology work. So James has got a great session where he walks from the Industrial Revolution through post-World War II reconstruction right up to the pandemic, looking at these periods of rapid change. So really, really fascinating closing keynote, highly, highly recommended. So the last thing I want to do here while I've got the microphone is to talk about participation in Converge, how you can get hands-on with technology and how you can win some prizes. So yesterday, I hope that many of you participated in our day of workshops and online labs, and you can put your learning to use over in our hackathons. So we have a number of challenges. So everybody can participate. This is not just for those developers who, have participated in hackathons for years and know exactly, how it all works. We literally have something for everybody. Now, in the hackathon mode, we have 4 challenges across various areas, various themes. We have for work solutions, we're challenging you to bring together micro apps and Podio to solve problems in the world of hybrid work. Now, over in virtual apps and desktops and app delivery and security, we're giving you more of a blue sky challenge to look at specific problems in those areas and imagine a solution. Now, we want you to create a video with, the problem statement, the solution, that you're proposing, mock up your solution, and you might even get as far as coding a proof of concept. But we really want to make this inclusive of those admins, engineers, architects who don't consider themselves coders. There's an opportunity here to come up with great ideas and designs and present them in a compelling way. Now, we have a future of work theme that is very like those, more blue sky, in fact, not oriented towards a particular technology area. And then we come to my actual, the event that I've had most input with, and our guest that will be joining us in a couple of minutes also has our CVAD scripting challenge. Now, we set up a CVAD environment and created read-only credentials so that you can all follow these challenges, try and find information that we've hidden in CVAD, come up with a script in PowerShell or your favorite language, and uncover the secret and win some awesome prizes. And then finally, throughout the 3 days, you'll notice questions popping up after certain sessions. So about 3 times a day, the closing slide for a session will say, hey, look in the polling area and answer a pop quiz question. And what we'll do is each time you answer a question correctly, that's 1 ticket in the draw for that day, and we'll draw winners and send them gift cards. So lots of ways to participate, whether you're a coder, scripter, builder, or you just want to watch the sessions and you can just answer some questions there.
Okay, thanks, Pat. That looks really great. You know, there's one thing that we've been working on for a while that I think deserves a special mention in the keynote. I know personally from many, many conversations that I've had with CTPs, CTAs, and others in the community that it really hasn't always been that straightforward to get to grips with the Citrix technologies. And so over the last 18 months, 2 years almost, the community and developer relations teams have been working really, really hard together on something that I think is really going to change the game. It's a project that I'm very, very proud of having been involved with it at the start. And I know you've been driving it really hard, Pat. So you know what, why don't you fill us in?
Yeah, of course, thanks. So we recognize that technical professionals need space to experiment and learn all of this great technology that we're bringing to you. We haven't always done a great job in making products and services available so you can do just that. So as Christian mentioned, we've been working hard. Activity has really kicked up over the last 6 months. And so I'm delighted to announce today that in 2022, we'll be introducing a program that will give you access to products like Citrix ADC, Citrix Virtual Apps and Desktops, SD-WAN for lab use. So you will get access to not for resale, not for production, bits and license keys, so you can download those binaries and build your own lab to experiment, to follow those great blog posts that our CTPs put out. And with that, I'm going to introduce one of those CTPs. He actually put together a 6-part blog series explaining how to hook up, I think it was Google, Azure, and AWS with SD-WAN to make your own hybrid multi-cloud network. So Lee Jeffries, join us and tell us a little bit about that blog series, and tell us about your involvement in the community lab project, as we've called it.
Thanks for the intro, Pat. So big part of my background being a CTP was always to bring the technology to the community and be involved in sharing the knowledge and everything to set these things up. So that blog series about hooking up multi-cloud was was about creating a public cloud network mesh so that you could literally bridge your on-premise data center with the multiple clouds. So you could access them and route between them seamlessly with not worrying about downtime and sort of pinch points and bottlenecks. So that was a pretty cool blog post. But I don't want to detract from the announcement that you've just made. It's a big announcement. I'm really excited about this. Getting hands-on with these products and pressing the red buttons and things and working out how all this stuff works is a really big deal to the community. And I know this is going to be very popular. I know you're going to run out of tin in the public cloud very soon. So with it being such a big deal for the community and it being hands-on, how much is it going to cost?
Well, right now, we're still putting this together. We'll share the pricing when we make it generally available, but I can guarantee it will be affordable for individual technical professionals. You'll be able to put this on your credit card, Lee, as an independent consultant, and you'll be able to actually offset against tax.
I guess that's the important bit, right, Pat?
Yeah.
So I guess we'll find out what affordable means. Wait a minute though. All those products you just mentioned, they're all on-premises products, right? What about Citrix Cloud?
Whoa, Lee, hang on a minute, mate. We absolutely can't include cloud services in a community offering.
Well, actually, Christian, we can. I'm delighted to share today that the initial rollout of this program will include Citrix Virtual Apps and Desktops premium service.
Really? Well, okay, but well, two things, Pat. How are we going to do that? And secondly, why on earth would you tell people now when they can't get their hands on it until what, next year? That doesn't seem particularly fair.
Well, the reason that I want to tell everybody right now, well, one reason is I'm really excited because I've been working on this since February and it's actually happening. But another reason is that what I want to do is invite the entire community to apply for our public pilot. So I'm inviting you all to go to the form. We will have the URL. We'll put it on screen here. I hope it's there now. And enter your name, email address, company, etc., to apply for the public pilot of CUGC Plus membership. Now, what we're going to do is randomly select 100 applicants, and in early 2022, after the new year, you'll receive 3 months of CUGC Plus membership free of charge. You'll get access to all of those downloads and license keys I mentioned earlier. We are scaling this. We're putting this together with the emphasis on maximum functionality with minimal scale. So all of those licenses will be for, you know, a handful of users, just enough bandwidth to check things are working, because we really want to make this available as a tool for you rather than having anybody trying to run a business from it. This is strictly for lab use and not for production. You'll get CVAD premium service for 80 hours a month. Now, this is the key part of the deal here, that you get a lab tool and we give you a limited number of hours per month so that we can make it work for everybody.
Right, so I get it now, Pat. So the tech pros really don't need to create scripts to bring desktops up in their sleep, right? And they've, like us, got a bunch of other things to do as well as work in the lab. So I think best of both worlds, we can make this program possible by, you know, letting people turn the lab off when they're not using it. Is that right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Our engineers have done the work to ensure that you can literally flip a switch to turn your lab off, and you can come back the next day, the next week, the next month even, flip it back on. In a few minutes, it's available with all of your configuration exactly as it was when you turned it off. So everything is there. Your cloud connectors, which have spent some time complaining that they weren't able to access the service will come right back up and happily reconnect.
Well, if it's been engineered by the guys that run our internal labs, I know it's going to be fantastic.
Oh, yes.
But Pat, why leave this to a 3-month pilot? Why not just give it to everyone now? It sounds like it's ready.
Well, we've been working hard on it. The technology, in some ways, is the easy bit. We think that thousands of technical professionals working with our technology will want to be able to create their own labs and to have a cloud component of it. This public pilot will verify that everything works for 100 people before we turn those thousands loose on it. And it'll also give us an idea of the demand so that we make sure we're ready. So we know if, 3,000, 10,000 people apply to participate in this pilot, that's the kind of level of scale that we need to be ready to service when we become generally available.
Okay, Pat. So how do I get this? What have I got to do?
Okay, so you fill in the form. The URL's on the screen there, citrixws/cugc-plus-pilot. And you'll have to wait. We'll run the program, I think, for a month, and then draw our 100 participants. So you should hear by the end of the year if you're one of the lucky participants, Lee.
Okay, but surely, as a CTP, we should get free passes, right, Pat?
Well, this is a program for everyone. It's not a CTP special. So you'll just have to fill out the form and cross your fingers, mate. So back to you, Christian.
Oh, you guys, honestly. That's great stuff, Pat. And thank you, Lee, for joining us. And I know you and I put a lot of effort into that, and you more so, in the last few months. And again, we really appreciate that and appreciate all the CTPs and all the feedback we've had. We really hope that this is going to be a game changer.
There's no hope required.
That's great.
Game changer.
Well, even better then. Let's make sure we make it a success. So I guess we're at the end of the keynote, Pat. Just want to again thank everybody for joining, and thank you for giving up your time in the next few days to share with us here at Converge. We're really proud of the event. It's growing year on year in terms of participation. It's growing year on year in terms of the things that we cover. And of course, we're always open to feedback. So please, during the event, do send us your thoughts, your feedback. The best feedback we can get is the one that makes us feel the most uncomfortable. So, please give us any and all feedback, both positive and negative. This is an event for you, and we're going to make sure that it's the best one that you attend this year. So with that, thank you and enjoy the rest of Converge.